If you're applying to art school, you are in the right place, y'all. Today, I'm gonna give y'all the tips and tricks on how to apply to the right program and things to do in your application to make your portfolio stand out. And before y'all come for me saying I already made this video, like, one, this is the most up-to-date version, babe, so listen up. Two, y'all don't even watch the last couple ones. Like, what am I supposed to do if no one watches it? Girl, I'm gonna repost in a different way. I'm gonna say the things I said in a different way, so y'all literally listen up, because this could be life-changing, honestly, babes. Life-changing. Now I know what you're thinking. What gives this little Asian person the credentials to give me advice? First, hello, my name is Brett Park, and I go to USC Roski School of Art and Design. I also study communications here at the School of Annenberg. And not only did I go through the portfolio process once, I went through it twice and a third time, okay, for different programs. So I'm gonna give you the rundown of my little history. In high school, I was not a good art student. I probably took maybe 3 art classes and did not know about AP art, did not paint well at all. And when I applied to art schools, I was just throwing together random pieces for a portfolio and then just having my fingers crossed, okay? I documented the entire experience a while ago on YouTube on how I got rejected from every single art school I applied to, which was 3, RISD, UChicago, and Brown. Not that I would have gotten in there, but like, why did I think I could? I was delusional, babes. But for every other college, I applied for communications or media studies because I literally could not do math and didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Eventually, I ended up at USC's communication program, and after a year of just grinding my ass off, I got in. And I've been grinding, y'all, submitting my portfolios from everywhere to grants, local art shows, and most recently, a residency at Yale, which was really nice. So the plethora of rejections, but also the few acceptances that I did get, allow me to give this little advice onto y'all. So without further ado, let's get into the damn tips and tricks, babe. If you're applying to art school, the first thing you need to know is, where are you applying, babes? Are you gonna go to a university program, or are you gonna go to an official art school without kind of the biology, business, etc.? And I'm gonna very quickly lay out the pros and cons of each one based on my understanding from not only my university experience, but also having conversations with friends at RISD, Pratt, and etc. What's really great about universities is you get the classic experience of college. If you want to, you can engage with football, sororities, and frats if you really want to. No judgment here. And you also have the option to double major in business and marketing if you want to learn how to be more of an entrepreneur, if you want to know how to do your finances, and you can mix and match those to supplement your art and your art career. And that personally has really helped me in communications in terms of just marketing myself, understanding media literacy of different platforms, and I also get to go to the house parties, as well as just go outside the art community bubble. However, the caveat is that art programs at universities are usually the lowest funded out of all the schools. For example, Annenberg, which is my communication school at USC, is way better funded than the art school, which is one of the poorest on campus. So things in the facilities are not great, the bathrooms are not a vibration, babes, and the sink is leaking, clogged. And schools that have dedicated art programs may be different than this because their whole thing is art. So literally all the funds just go back into the facilities, hopefully, unless there's like embezzlement or something, but we don't talk about that. And because facilities have funding, they might have a broader kind of spectrum of majors or even more specialty majors. If you want to do more textiles or screen printing or stuff like that, they may have that option rather than a university that may be just painting and drawing. And those are the main differences, but if I think of anything else, I'll definitely just put it in the comments below. So moving on, here are some things to not put in your portfolio because you want to be different, you want to be fun, you want to be fresh, y'all. The Art Prof YouTube channel has a great video on tropes, and they specifically looked at portfolios for admission cycles, and so they have a much more thorough video. The main points I took away was like no broken mirrors, babes, eyes, realistic eyes, celebrity portraits, and pill bottles. Now, I personally think that if you make it your own, you can make it your own. But if you're looking through Pinterest and you're seeing kind of the same imagery pop up, like a screaming face and like a shattered mirror, like we've seen it, we've kind of done that before. If you do that, that's totally fine. Like you can show off your technique in that, but in terms of pushing concept, it might not be the best piece. And that's why a lot of people push what ideas you have, how are you translating that into a visual narrative or a visual language, and how is that visual narrative or language different than what we've seen in the past, and where does it fall in kind of the canon of art. Canyon, okay. And even though I'm saying this, it could actually be real positive, especially if you're maybe lacking on the technique or didn't have the means to work on art previously or just got into it. If you show that your concepts are there, the art school can help technique. It can build your drawing skills, your painting skills, your color theory, but it's very difficult for them to inject a concept into you or to hope that you will be better at concepts when you get into college based on like what you read in the curriculum. Try to have a well-rounded portfolio with those technique pieces, and it's okay to have some cliches, but definitely try to push yourself to think beyond those Pinterest images that you may have seen or just YouTube portfolio videos that you've seen in the past. Also, everyone who shared their portfolios online literally got clocked by the art prof.
Just need to turn that stuff off. Just watch them and that's it. Don't watch them over and over again because...
We don't really talk about that, but I'm gonna talk about it because it was like a whole expose video style. Like there were screenshots of literally every single person that has put their art portfolio online. Camilla, myself, a couple other of our friends, which was so goofy and funny. Another thing for portfolios is always put descriptions because you always want to ground your piece into the broader context of art or just name drop some artists that inspired you for this piece. If you aren't totally aware of art history or contemporary artists, it is really helpful to have themes that align with your essays that you wrote for your college app. So for example, if I'm talking about the Asian American experience, and if I talk about the Asian American experience in the descriptions, there's a nice through line that helps people understand what your story is and what you want to do with your art. And also if you can put your art into a certain period that you're referencing, or even just throw in philosophical texts or critical race theory or critical anything theory, just throw those like buzzwords in low key if like you know just enough about them to make it relevant to the piece. The girlies will be impressed. Like the girlies will just be like, oh, they know their shit, maybe we should just accept them. That's the narrative I spun in my head, but throw some books in there. Throw some authors. Now what to expect in art school. Art schools do not teach you these things. And I'm just gonna list them because they don't teach a lot. First, if you're expecting to get into a lot of galleries straight out of graduation and they're teaching you how to do all of this and how to build your community/network, babes, they don't teach any of that. At least from my experience in my program. And if they do teach it, it's usually just limited to one class or one or two classes. And usually they don't teach you how to sell your work. They don't teach you how to market yourself or market your business. And they will not give you the answers that you may be looking for in terms of just surviving and making money as an artist. Because from the student perspective, it's like, oh, well, I'm in a capitalist society where education is valued. And so obviously I have to get my education in order to build a career. My education should help my career then. But actually, from the institution's perspective, it's more like, oh, these people are privileged enough to study art, and so they're just gonna study art. And we're not gonna really support them so heavily on building their career because they're mainly supposed to be here to learn art itself. If you want like a job at like a museum or like wanna show your work at galleries, they're not gonna hold your hand and just like tell you how to do it, which is why you should follow me, babes, because I'm documenting everything. I'm joking, but I'm not. Now, with that being said, art schools do provide you some opportunities. A lot of art schools have spaces to show work at, and so you can apply to get these spaces. And at USC, you can get your own like solo show or a group show if you apply with a portfolio and a proposal for what you want to do with the space. And so that's something you wouldn't really have access to if you didn't go to an institution. You'd have to just apply on your own to local galleries. Also, even though like you're paying for art school, they do have grants that they can give you, or even scholarship or research opportunities or connections there that you may not otherwise get. And even though this is like not a vibration, babes, like there is power behind an institution's name, and the fact that you are studying art in a formal sense, then there is social value there. Things like the Yale Norfolk residency that I did, everyone who applied had to get nominated from their school. You wouldn't have gotten nominated if you weren't already in a school, so that opportunity was already in the institution space. You also are like essentially with your colleagues in the art world. You're not just with the people who are above you, who are already in those jobs right now. You're also talking with your network and your community of people that you are studying with. Those are the people who are eventually gonna occupy the jobs that you are looking at. And knowing someone in those spaces is really helpful because they're just friends, and friends want to help friends. And you know, hopefully if you get the opportunity to help someone else out and extend the ladder downward, you do that as well. When I was a freshman, I would always ask like with upperclassmen for help on like advice for internships. And now that I'm an upperclassman, if anyone asks me for advice who's a underclassman, I'm down to just send them my resume, send them all the interview questions that I got on certain things. to, again, extend the ladder down. And so it's just a natural thing for people to just help each other out, hopefully. Being immediately placed in a community of like-minded people who have a passion for the arts is really helpful. Another thing about art school is that it can make you love art or hate it more. I feel like art school can make or break you in the sense of critiques can be harsh. You may have professors that don't believe in you and believe in your work, and that can really affect your mental health or your mental kind of thought processes when you are creating. Like, I always have professors' voices in my head when I'm painting, which is like so cray-cray, but that's just what happens when you're getting so much opinions and feedback. However, you just take what you have and make the best of it and put in the work. People do cry. It's like a thing. I'm not trying to like sugarcoat anything in this video. Some people burn out, especially when they've done art their entire lives and nothing else. But also some people really thrive, like flourishing because they've given the opportunity to finally just make and create when they didn't previously have that. And so they're just like hungry for it and they're going after it, which is amazing and incredible. And when I receive a really hard critique, the thing I always go back to is why I make art in the first place. If I hold on to why I create and what my purpose is at art school or going to art school, that always carries me through to just the next project and the next piece. And project by project, like just getting through the next week before even thinking longer term. So that's been helpful for me. I don't know. The next tip when you are looking for a program is just look through the faculty list and the professors to see if you even vibe with their work. See the alumni that came out of the program, not just the school. Sometimes, y'all, the university will throw in an alumni that actually went to the MFA program instead of the undergrad program, and they are extremely different. For example, UCLA art is still really good and prestigious and good in their undergraduate program, but it's a completely different level than its MFA program, which is one of the best in the nation. And I said this in another video too, but always look at the opportunities at these schools as well. Can you apply for a show? Are there grants at this school that you can apply for? What do the scholarships look like? How many people are in the cohort, and what's the ratio between those prizes and grants and whatnot with the people applying for it? Who knows? You also may want to pivot during your college career, so making sure that not only the painting professors are really strong, but maybe the drawing professors, maybe the printmaking professors, etc. Oh my god, and this tip is so beyond important. Like, listen up, y'all. Listen up. Check to see if they give you studio spaces when you're a senior, if you're a BFA. Some schools don't offer people studio spaces, like USC. They just got rid of the senior studios. Like, babes, what? Like, I think they're gonna bring it back sometime, but they just removed it for them. So the only way you can have a studio is if you literally are taking this class, which is advanced painting. But at other schools, they're given spaces. Friends at Laguna College of Art and Design have a studio space. My friends at RISD have studio spaces. Like, having a space to work that is just yours and you can drop all your stuff off is beyond helpful. For me personally, like, my environment of where I create, it greatly affects the work. And so having this space is really important for me, but I would hate to have gone to a program that didn't give me that opportunity. My next tip is to simply just follow people who go to that school. There are so many great people documenting their college experiences at these different programs, especially on TikTok and Instagram. And so if you're able to find and follow these people, or even reach out to them to send them a message on what the program is like, then babes, they can give you the tea, and they can give you way more information than a school's website ever would even consider, babes. Like, the real stuff literally happens on your phone because people are just recording everything. You would not have seen this floor at Roski on their website, babes, but you're seeing it now. You're seeing me lay on it right now. But also, don't inundate yourself and overwhelm your mental space with all this information, because it can get overwhelming and it can get to a point where it's just not helpful anymore and actually hurting you. But if you really are like a curious person and think it will help you, then do it, babes. I would just go for it. The very last tip I have may be the most obvious one, honestly, but it's, can you afford art school? Like, if you're going to just an art school, can you afford to spend all this money on education, potentially take out loans? Can you not only pay for the tuition, but the art supplies that are required of each class that may be really, really expensive? I took a printmaking class, and the supplies costed like almost $300 for that just one semester. And if you are able to afford it, think about immediately after college as well, how hard it may be potentially to get a job that pays well, that allows you to not only afford rent and food to eat, but also can pay off the loans that you do have or take out if you are in that position. Because just getting by in college specifically for art schools and studio practices, it may be very difficult to pay off all of that, which is why maybe going to an art school at university may be beneficial because you're able to get an educational experience that may be more appealing job-wise. So yeah, just be really thoughtful of that. Not to stress you out. I don't mean to stress you out, but yeah, just a little food for thought moment. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, like the video. If you have a fun comment, critique, or joke to share, comment it down below. And if you like me, my art, or want to follow my journey as an art student in LA, you can subscribe or follow my Instagram at Brett Payne. Y'all should check it out. Real-time updates, fun and fresh art pieces. And I think that's the end of the video, y'all. That's the end of the video.